nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. We're here virtually or in person. Roll call. Go ahead, please.
Albrecht. Badlow. Here. Day. Gurecki. Here. Garano. Warrenzak.
Here.
Bono. We have a
Okay.
quorum.
Take the mayor, please.
The mission of the Herkimer County Industrial Development Agency is to deliver economic incentives to businesses and industries to diversify and strengthen Herkimer County's tax base and enhance community vitality by supporting job creation, housing, business, and industrial development and community revitalization. We strive to develop the local economy in an organized, sustainable, and environmentally beneficial manner.
Next. Okay, thank you, Aaron.
Well, can you put that back up, please?
Let's go to the mission statement update. I just read notes on.
We're only adding the word housing. One thing that we learned from the controller's office was that if we included it in our mission statement and it was outlined and approved by the board, that we were able to do projects in that arena. More and more IDAs are doing housing pilots, and I want to make sure that we cover all of our bases. So we just added the word housing, and we need to pass a resolution that we support that as our new mission statement.
Motion, please. Mike, second. Anna, discussion. Okay, right.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
So that'll be updated on our website, right?
And then 5 hour minutes for 2 in board meeting and public hearing and the board meeting was October 31st, 2023, and then a public hearing for the local JS schools, November 17th, 2023. I need a motion to accept. Are there any corrections? And second, Mike. Discussion. Favor aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Carried. I need a motion on the public hearing. Mike, thank you. Any discussion, yes?
No one has showed up.
Favor aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Carried. Item 6 is financial reports. They're on pages 9 through 16. Questions regarding that thing?
Sure, we're looking good for the end of the year here coming up. Still have some other project fees that'll be due in. Some of the monies that we'll be paying off too will be the once we close on the 60-acre parcel in the Skyler Business Park. We'll completely close on that park, but with the money that we're getting in from the rabbit, we're going to pay down that debt because of there were some roads and other things in there that we didn't sell, so we had to make the county whole. So we'll be doing that. Once again, we changed the way we looked at maintenance and expense for next time, because you can see that number is quite a lot higher than what it was. But we're still very much financially sound. Nobody owes us anything on our loans, and the one gentleman who we have a program with comes in and brings multiple checks. This week just cashed one of them.
Any comments, questions, concerns?
The only question I had was, I know when we close on that 50-acre parcel, I just don't remember how much that is for. So then we have 294 and change left.
Yes.
So that covered that.
Yes, yeah, that and the Moraba. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need a motion to accept the financials. Mike, second by and discussion. All in favor aye.
all right.
Any opposed, nay? Carried. Good marketing update here and take it away.
Oh,
See, John,
yeah, this is the age, yeah.
Yes.
That's a real thing, right?
Oh, I don't know.
This space, yeah.
If she took photos here, I'd usually have my eyes closed because I'd be meditating.
So for the micro enterprise grant, I made 2 flyers. The one on the left is supposed to be for farmers, as per John's request, he wanted the manure spreader. in it.
Sure.
Mhm.
So what we've done, just because in the past we've heard comments from different individuals, we don't really support the ag market, which I truly believe we do quite heavily, actually. But, however, we just thought it would be good when people are asking, we'll get these out to the legislature and everything else. There's a few more steps we have to do before we can actually put the micro enterprise grant to work. But we'll get these out to everybody so that they have a lot.
If you could send me a PDF of that when it's ready, then I can send that to my email list and distribute it. Yeah.
Right, could you accommodate?
Yeah.
Questions?
You don't receive it, fine. So John got an email when he was going to a solar conference and it sent him this link so you could put your picture in, and if you're attending the event, you can post. It was similar to this, but you post it, so people know you're attending. So I created one for the Brownfields conference with his face on it.
Very photogenic.
This is a map I made and it shows the distance between the Skylar Business Park and the Four Corners Business Park.
So these just give you a summary, but yesterday, for example, we were notified over the weekend, I'm gonna be meeting with the US Department of Commerce on Wednesday, tomorrow. And it's set up in multiple meetings. I think Mr. Bono will send one later in the day. But they want to know about benefits and things that the IDA can offer where we're located in Aaron worked on 4 or 5 handouts that I'll do at that presentation too. And just generally updating a lot of other maps and other things that we've been, not only for the Brownfield conference, but other things that we have. So well, so. Oh, good. You don't stay.
Sit there, a second, okay, thank you. Number 8, the LDC donation.
We've talked with Chuck Malcolm about this, and once again with the LDC, we'll need to do all of the filings and reporting that we do as an IDA. So since there is only 1 month left and a lot to do, we're making the recommendation that we don't start the LDC till January 1st. That'll help us a lot with what we have to file this March, so it'll be better that we start on the 1st of January and then we can get it. We also, part of that LDC will request through the board a letter that when working with the village of Herkimer, which we've talked about taking over the Bill's school, that they'll take the Bill's school. And then in turn, as soon as they do that, the LDC will take it over. No, April 1st. I mean, January 1st. For the, well, so we won't have to do this year's March reporting. We'll only have to do the IDAs, but that will give us a whole year to prepare. And nothing's worse than doing any reporting where you really have nothing to report, which you still have to fill out 6 years in advance and all of these other things. So I think that year will give us a good stable base.
You don't. All right,
Yep.
let's go to item 9, you're done.
Yeah, that's fine. Unless anybody has any other questions about the LDC. I think we haven't come up with a name yet, but I know you have to look at that legally and send that all around. It'll either happen in our December meeting. Things like that. So it's filed in the papers, but it would take roughly 2 days to get all the filings done.
With the bill splitting, maybe one of the first properties that the LDC takes on, what's the plan for that?
If we, yeah, there's a couple of people that are very interested in housing in that facility and not low income housing either. And in order to really promote it, we would really need to have more of a, and I hate to use the word control, but more of an ownership in it and help them secure it better. And we'll also update our phase 1s. So before we take it, the village takes it. So that way we're, EPA funding will be available because we'll have updated and understand what's going on. We've already done asbestos surveys there before. Phase 1. I don't think we had to do a phase 2 there. Do you remember, Victoria?
Don't believe
No,
so.
because we didn't really find anything. There was a tank that was removed and that was closed, but there was nothing else there, so.
Cooperation.
Well, he started to cooperate, but then he stopped. So he gave us permission to get on the site, we did everything, he stopped paying taxes. I contacted him, he told me he was with, for our current president to pay his property taxes. And that, why wouldn't I work with him to get it sold? I said, because you haven't paid your taxes. Well, that's not right. Why would you put me in that category? I said, I didn't understand the category in that. He says, well, the ones that don't pay their taxes, I said, because you haven't. So,
The to be determined.
no.
Right.
I would say, but he might be in bankruptcy. We're not quite sure. And if he is, that adds another little hurdle, but not a big hurdle because he's pretty much vacated the property. And that has a different set too. So the village can take it under Article 19. And we'll support them with our attorneys to get it to that point to bring it to the house. I would really hope that the Masonic will be either right behind or right there too. We really want to, we had a meeting with the county attorneys, with a few legislators, and I think we're on the right path there. I hope we are, because I think that would be key, because New York State will be opening up these new grant programs very soon, the store being one of them, 2 million right off the get-go. We can apply and get that relatively easy.
Anything else? All right, let's go to item number 9, Jim McQuaid. There's, pages 17 to 20 there, there's a able, archaeology,
How much you call up that minute?
the schedule there of $7,650 to do some, archaeological work on that property.
Sure. So if you look on the screen, you'll see a map of the whole property. But you only see a certain area that's white with dots in it. That's the area that he has to test. The other area, soil was removed from that when they did work on the thruway. So he already knows that that area doesn't need it. And we're gonna get into further discussion on this property. Either way, we need to approve whether we move ahead with it or not. I would still like to approve this because the clock is ticking on the weather. And he's got to shovel all those spots. There's no plowing here. It's shoveling, a shovel width, and it depends on the area, but maybe a foot deep, not very deep. But so he gave us a proposal. He's been very good with his proposals to us all around. I mean, we've shopped him in the past, and the next closest was like 65,000. I mean, that's ridiculous. He's a one-man band, but he's approved by the state. Everybody likes him. No, hand shovel. That's all he needs to do. But he won't, if it freezes, he's got to wait till the spring.
The owner,
And it's not, I'm sorry,
the owners,
we're gonna need to talk about that in executive session. But he needs to break up that soil when he takes it out. So if he, throws and lies, and he said something I don't know. He just said this is the only way. But anybody can go out and watch it if they like. I mean, if you see something shiny, pick it up and hide it.
So maybe this is what you're referencing for executive summary, but the owner wasn't gonna let us on.
We'll discuss that in
Okay.
executive session.
So can you send me that?
Yeah, for everything.
I guess I don't ever see it.
We've used them for Skylar, Russell Farm, Skylar. Yeah, other than Mohawk. Is he able to do that? That was a hairy thing. Would it be?
All right, 7650, also by Mike, second by.
Still be subject to one. So is he going to hold this pricing for a period of time, or he can't do it until spring?
Yes,
When it comes to- Okay, if it doesn't say that, I don't.
no, when we had a conversation, he's good.
Okay.
That's a very good question, because I asked the same thing.
All in favor, aye.
All right.
Any opposed, nay. Item number 10, there goes.
Yeah, so we're looking to extend it to another 180 days due diligence period. on the amount of property that's left in the Skylar Business Park that they've had under contract for a while. We can talk about the contract that they're working towards an end product, but I believe that we should extend this out to them for the additional time.
The solar company, right?
No.
It's the storage.
Well, Verdi's just a contractor developer.
Just a developer.
They're building the building.
Which building?
Yeah, that is.
Executive session, okay. Then I'll ask my.
That's there and this one.
No, it's
No, no
a.
additional.
So do we want to? If it's executive session, and who they are, should we move this to executive session?
Well, this is just, we're allowing the developer 180 more days to do the due diligence. The end customer, we can't discuss now,
Right.
but them we can discuss. They're the developer that's building a set warehouse structure on the facility. They need on the property, and they need 180 more days of due
You can say why.
diligence. Because the end client requested.
Requested it. Okay.
Any motion that might second. Discussion. Okay, why?
Aye.
Opposed, no, carried. Let's go to the Russell Park training.
Yeah, did we put, we didn't put the insurance ones in here, that's okay, but did we get one, did we get both of them or
We
just
only received one insurance certificate so far.
for the fire or the police?
The fire we received.
Okay. So as work's been going on at Russell Farm, the fire chief / police chief of the town of Frankfurt asked if they could do some trainings in the Russell Farmhouse. I said, well, first off, we need some insurance, and then I would go speak to my board. And I'm bringing it in front of you. I believe it's a good opportunity. It gives them a chance there. We just did it successfully, run water across the road, and there's a new fire hydrant there, which I think is great. And they want to do both police and fire training. Well, not that they're gonna set it on fire, or cut holes in the roof or anything, but do trainings.
Just for there. Is this not a county, it's a countywide effort, or is this just? their
Just
fire
the
effort?
town, that's all we'll have insurance for, and that's all they'll be able to do. Just the fire. And the police.
Does Tony have any issues with that? I guess I've never. I don't think we've ever done that.
No, we
That's
haven't
kind of
done it
legal.
before. Tony, you're on, isn't he?
Yeah.
Unmute, Tony.
I was just curious if we get any.
You're still muted.
Santa, you're still muted. Microphone. There you go. Oh, you had it.
There you
There we
are.
go. Sorry about that, John. I just was sticky fingers, I guess. I didn't hear the question from Ann.
The police, the town police and the town fire chief, they're the same individual, approached me to see if they could do drills in the Russell Farmhouse. I asked him for insurance certificates. He provided the fire department one already. He's working on the police department one. And then I brought it to the board and Ann had a great question. Does that pose any liability on us, or would their insurance certificate, they would just be considered another vendor and okay to use it, or what is your opinion?
I would probably layer it with one or two more things. The fact that they're insured does not preclude us from getting sued. I would probably ask that we either be added as an additional insured, and I'd probably ask for a short form indemnity and hold harmless. We have had situations in, not that we're doing a burn, where we have had firefighters seriously injured and the municipality property owner has been sued. So I like to layer it up a little bit.
So can you have a memo typed up and sent to Victoria on what we need, and then we'll get it to them?
Very straightforward, absolutely.
All right, that's only if you decide.
Does he have a time frame on it?
I told him I would let him know when he could do it. It
That way
wasn't-
we can turn it around quickly for him.
Yeah, I don't think that they need to practice. It doesn't matter the format,
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, so they really need to practice, but it's up to when Tony's got trial these next couple days, but when he can get something Victoria, but you all have to vote anyways to see if that's something.
So say you wanna start snowing. It starts snowing. And there's 2 feet of snow in the driveway, they're gonna be responsible for getting that. You write that into the contract, and they're gonna be responsible for it.
Well, I think we have to be responsible to clear the path to the fire hydrant that's charged and live there. Aren't we responsible for that?
It's a courtesy. The fire department knows, I mean, you should as a homeowner do it as a courtesy, you don't have to do it.
Because I was just gonna have Howie drive there once in a while, just to make sure that they get to the fire hydrant. That would be the only thing, I'm not gonna shovel. I mean, they have to go in houses that aren't shoveled too. Not every crack house that police go to have nice sun set up. and everything. Maybe some of them, not into the crack, so I don't really know.
Tony's certainly,
Well, then you,
also using better eyes, We'll have Tony, doctor it up, the way it needs to be, and then, wrong with it, or you want to see it
your
first?
resolution. Well, what are you gonna change? The lawyer's gonna tell you.
All right,
I mean, you can, I don't mind, but, yeah, of course.
and just send them out when you get them.
Answer them and get the additional. He might be the additional insurer on that.
Take a look.
Yeah, I think he did put us on that one, but that's okay. I like the other stuff Tom said too.
Need a motion, please? Lana, second. Any discussion? On favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 12, Johnny Drive, well, it's up there.
So there was an error in our first inducement or
And the authorizing resolution passed at our last meeting.
so what are we telling them?
It's, Tony referred to it as a Scrivener's error, so there was a, typographical error that listed a drive-in road reference in the authorizing resolution, and it should have been Diamond Drive LL. So just for the record, that was typed in error, but it has been corrected. So we just need to let the public know.
Do we need action on that or no? Tony, do we need a vote or anything on that?
I just like a resolution ratifying that the resolution that was actually signed, because we're closing on this, was intended to reference Diamond Drive LLC and not Drive-In Road. Totally on me. We are working on the roadway and I transposed that in my mind for some reason. But just a resolution ratifying it, that's the only change.
Motion, please, Dan, second, Alana, discussion? On favor, aye? Any opposed, nay? Carried. All right, item 13, Chamber of Commerce sponsorship, on page 23.
It's the same number that we've given every year. I think we should continue on with that. Maybe allow us in here and other things throughout the year.
Your motion, please. Mike, second, Alana, discussion? On favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Properties 14 to 24, what's up there, John?
Well, they contacted us about possibly getting out of their pilot. And Tony did write a memo that everybody has a copy of. But I think we need some more information. Myself and Tony have talked a little bit about this. So I think I'll reach out to them and say, yes, there is a way you can do it. Let's see how serious they are and what their time frame is and everything else. Do you agree, Tony? Okay, Tony's shaking his head yes for those who can't hear his head shaking.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so just so you know, that might be on an agenda. I'm sure. Next one.
What advantage to them getting out of pilots and that?
Well, the property that we gave them the pilot on is a very small piece of their whole park. And sometimes when they go to, and I don't know the whole story, I haven't had a chance to really talk with them. They want to refinance or possibly sell or expand. They don't want that liability on there anymore, so they want to kind of get rid of it. Tony's concern is any of the sales tax abatement we gave them, they might have to give that back. And, I'm not sure yet, 100%. We're gonna dig into that a little bit more, so.
So no action.
Pardon? Old Forest, Enchanted Forest, water supply,
Oh, it
where the
is?
fun never stops. I think you go there, don't you?
Not in a long
Oh.
time. It's, if I remember, I talked about it years ago, was the.
No, this is where the new rides are, just the 3 new rides.
That's only a portion.
Oh, yeah, very small portion. But the problem is, it's not the property tax itself, it's all that sales tax we gave them on buying that equipment. So that's where the money was. I don't know about storage, right?
Whatever. Okay, so that's just the, discussion. All right. So we'll wait for you.
Yeah, it shouldn't have said action, but it was just to get you aware that that might happen coming up.
All right, ELG, UPLA,
So Tony hasn't really, I don't believe you've had a chance to review what their attorney sent to you yet, have you?
John, I have not had an opportunity to look at that. I'll be able to turn to that this evening, I hope.
So my thoughts
I
are,
do see it.
I see it as though I think they've made the corrections and they've provided us with the data. What I would like to have happen, and we've done this similar in the past, because we already really did induce the project, but they've made some changes to it, so it's not, and you were more or less looking for the chain of title or the chain of operation. I think that we should support moving ahead with their project. We've already agreed to schedule a public hearing. We have the public hearing, and that way we can allow them the ST60s because they're worried about increases after the first of the year in materials and also getting a lot of those extended materials on order because we all know how the supply chain is. I don't see this, and we also told them, and they did submit it, and then we will receive a check for half of the project fee. So I think we're moving in the right direction. I know it's been a little bit of a trial with the out of country ownership, but I think now it's in a good spot. Victoria, would you agree after our conversation with them yesterday? But once again, it's up to you. But I think if the board votes on moving this ahead with a resolution upon your recommendations, would that suffice?
John, I'm just reluctant to move forward without an executed project agreement.
Well, he changed some things. He also got in his project agreement that this was in the town of Schuyler and some other things that they brought up several times with us. So, you know, there's cut and pasting that happens with everybody, and things sometimes are overlooked or not looked upon the first time, and we find these errors. But I'm more, after our conversation yesterday and after their willingness to pay it, I do not want to see a lapse in a company that really is in good standing in the county and looking to grow and also sell an existing business that can bring in more businesses to slow them down or have them lose out on ST60s. Because that's all they're really looking to do is do some ordering of the materials.
I understand that, John, but we got burned 2 years ago on that solar project out of Syracuse where we went all the way to the end and then they decided not to close. So it's a board decision. It's just I don't know why when they've had a project agreement for a month, they can't sign it and get it back to us with a check. That's our custom and practice.
Tony, we did not get burned on that project.
You didn't get burned, but it didn't close.
I know, I understand it didn't close, but however, we did not get burned. You know, I look at it in 2 ways. I'm looking at it financially and what the agency and that you're supported. But I also look at it that we have to make sure that these individual companies that he's dealing with a difficult task too, and working with them for a long time now, I understand his pain as well. And I just see that this is a company that's bringing additional jobs or keeping jobs here. I shouldn't say bringing additional ones, but they will be hiring some additional workforce. And then also allowing us to market another building in one of our parks to bring in additional workers. So I guess that's the way I'm looking at it. Of course, it's a decision. It's not illegal what we're doing, illegal what we're doing. It's just trying to help them out with this step in the process.
So what's excluding them from, and Tony has a good, I get it, if we've never been burnt, or we're going to be burnt, we wanna run parallel with them, but what's precluding them from signing the project?
Nothing, he has all the stuff now, he just doesn't have a chance to review it, and he only got it late yesterday afternoon.
So it's signed, Tony has it, so what's the?
Just that he hasn't had a chance to review it yet.
Okay,
So-
so we'll give them the opportunity, and
That's why I said if we vote on it until he recommends it, if we pass a resolution today that says upon his recommendation, he reviews it, then we can free up, do the public hearing, which we can schedule and have here, and give them the ST60 before the end of December. Well, into December, we'd like to do it.
so
Without them.
can we vote subject to?
That's just what I wanted to
All right,
do.
so
yeah.
contingent
So
on
does he
Tony's.
not? Does he understand that we'll vote subject to, in other
I
words,
think
our
so.
vote would be negated if he has?
Yeah.
or-
Right, Tony, or no?
Hands off to the side a little bit. I'm hearing every other word. Is it subject to my final review?
Yes,
Okay,
as long as your final review is within 5 to 10 business days, not a month and a half.
that's not gonna be a problem.
Okay, good. We got that recorded.
Specifically subject to his satisfactory review of it.
Coming.
All right, so Tony's gonna take a look at contingent on his approval and the motion in that regard. Mike, second, and Alana, discussion. Big Raj.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That concludes the regular agenda. Let's go to comments by elected officials. I think Ashley from Senator Walzak's office is on. Ashley, any comments?
I'm good for now.
Thank you. Send the senator our regards. Who else is on?
I will.
The 315-717-7874,
Corey,
is that an elected official?
Corey.
Is that Corey? Okay. All right, and no one else. Mark? I'm sorry, thank you. Legislative from District 2. Okay, let's go to project updates. John, start with a fast.
Yeah, so we were very successful in this latest round of grants. We received $4.3 million for Fast New York. Where we're going to be able to put in a 500,000 gallon water tank in the Skylar Business Park, plus our new entrance that will include stoplights on Route 5. So that was an excellent grant we received.
Thank you, John, and the staff for doing all that. While we're using this, great work, and it paid off, so.
It
And
truly
the
did.
presentation, I mean, took a ride to Albany and make a presentation. In person, I saw it online and it was, took part a little bit, but so very well done.
This was one of the few we get to get to. It's kind of cool to get up there and really talk about it. So, and we asked for 4.372 million and we got 4.372 million. So we're excited about that. It was like writing a manifesto. So, but it worked out well. We're one of the few to receive it. So
This is the new one.
this is one of the new ones. There's more to come.
Yeah.
So there's even more on the agenda.
Does the timing of that grant being distributed work out with the timing of the new gas station there and everything that for the entrance? I just don't know.
So, yeah, so a new entrance is coming in. Right now, we're in the process of moving the poles, the electric poles. So, but they can do concurrently. It won't matter. It won't affect anything. So they already have all the drawings. We already have the outlay of the entrance. So their architect engineering firm will work with Delta and make sure that they're in the realm where they need to be. And we'll start going out to bids probably not till January, February for the front entrance phase.
I mean, the 4.372, when will we be able to draw that?
As soon as
I
we
guess.
start the construction.
Okay,
of
so
both
it's right
things.
away.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've already determined where the water tower has to go in the park. It's a 500,000 gallon one. I wanted to put it in the circle in the back, like statue or something. Put Jimmy's picture on it and all that kind of stuff. But they said, no, it'd be better just outside of that, which I'm okay with too. So, and we already met with Water Authority and they've agreed to take it over once it's all complete. They'll work with us on the installation, make sure everything's done.
So there should, wouldn't had any issues about entrance, traffic flows, that we will know, going forward, there won't be any issue.
Well, you can never tell with DOT. You should ask the gentleman behind you, but DOT, you never know. We hope not.
Did you figure out the town?
The town, well, the stoplight itself will be maintained by DOT. That's on the state
Okay.
road. But the entrance and all the plowing, the town has done and will continue to do.
Okay,
The water tower, I'm pretty excited. 500,000 gallons is big. And that's really gonna help not only that park, but our other park that we're developing and other areas around there. So
You're gonna be able to see it from the road.
you are, that's why we're not sure what name we're gonna put on there or any of that. And so I told them, you know, we don't really wanna put anything ourselves. And since the water authority, along with they might put Mohawk Valley Water Authority, but their problem is, and they also, the manufacturer of the tank, there's only one good aerial, 500,000. I mean, they've done a lot of research on it. They won't allow them to put their name on it too, because there's in one of the letters, it almost looks like a target. And they don't like shoot hunters in the area to, I mean, things you gotta think about, you know, but you gotta, so. I'm pretty excited about it though, because I think this is a great way to show, you know, a good partnership with the state and the water authority and getting that.
Well, it's good to see the state's kind of on board with what's going on here in Herkimer County.
Well, what's really cool is when we presented, Dave Whipple was one of the people at Empire State Development. We talked to him, and he says, when I drive by the park, I love seeing all the growth there. So he even knows right where it is. And I think that's helped us too. The next is the New York State Contract Reporter, Victoria.
That is for, when we go out to bid for contracts, we have to put it into the New York State Contract Reporter. And we also have to follow up and put who the bids were awarded to. For example, the water and sewer extension at Russell Farm. So we do have to maintain those records through the New York State Contract Reporter.
Which is relatively new for us, so we've been doing that as we go on, but I don't know what you're doing like that. CHIPS service station, CHIPS SS. We had a great meeting with the county attorney and Jimmy and Mark, who just left, about getting that moving along a little better. The comptroller's office has money to remove the tanks, but the county needed a plan on how they take in-rem properties. We believe there's a plan. Are you guys voting on? Have you seen that resolution or anything? Please follow up, okay? So once they have that, they have a plan, but it's really not written, but it's a good plan. So they'll take that plan, the controller will say, okay, you do have something in case there's money made from this. But in this project, there won't be any money made because once the tanks are removed, we're gonna have Solid Waste Authority tear down the structure. And then the property is gonna be taken over by the town and it's gonna be a parking area like that. So I think we're in good shape there too. So that'll be a nice, you know, move out with the brown fields and really show some good thing. So it'll never be beneficial to anybody where it is anyways. It's just not. Chips gas station between Ilion and Frankfurt on the left-hand side. The owner of the billboard, the town will collect rents from that. Plus they're gonna add additional lighting so the town doesn't have to put anything. So,
they're taking over the parcel billboard?
yes, the whole thing.
How, have the taxes been paid on that parcel?
So
or
it doesn't
both
matter,
parcels?
yeah, not both, all of that, but that 999 parcel is just an extension of that. Other one, just so they could separate it out, but it's still owned by the original owner and take it.
So it's one parcel.
With a 999 extension, that's what the assessor does. We see that a lot on solar too. There's certain within the parcel, that other one that sits there, so, yeah, so the town will get that one and work with, what's his name? The kid who was there, he works for the sign guys. I can't think of his name, I'm sorry, but so he calls every Stubley, yeah, Max Stubley. Park outdoor, yeah, you are correct. Cost benefit analysis program. Victoria, Aaron, and Jen went to training up in Lewis County here 2 weeks ago. And they talked about upgrades for that package we use for cost benefit. And this new package will include what housing,
Housing, yes.
which is another reason why we're moving ahead with that too. We just want to make you aware of that. We also found out that we received a countywide BOA grant of $270,000. So that was another one we applied for this year. We're very excited about that. That's going to allow us to really look and go in depth in the properties throughout Herkimer County. We also received the CDBG housing study for grant of $50,000. This was quite a good month for us. There's another one that I can talk about, but only an executive session right now, but there's another good grant sort of that we received. So we really did make out well. We had 2 people supply us with bids to do the housing study, 2 consultants, and we'll refresh those once we get moving ahead. We have a call on that next week. We're moving ahead with our EPA grant assessment. We've created a couple maps with HRP. We also are looking at some spreadsheets on setting up different spreadsheets for landfills throughout the county to see where we can best develop those and work with a couple of third party like power generating companies there. And then we also have next year's meeting scheduled. Did you print out
I
those?
did, yeah.
Would you rather just take a hard copy now, or do you want her to email them to everybody? We can do both, yeah, so maybe hand them out to everybody and then we'll do that as well.
I know you said this was like a county-wide BOA. Will that overlap with the Herkimer
Sure.
one?
It's gonna add more to it.
Okay,
It'll be beneficial to everybody with this county background.
and then is the housing study, that's county-wide?
Countywide. So I was talking with Mr. Bono and some other people. I think we're gonna look at other housing, not just your standard too. Like, let's look at manufactured homes. Let's look at what we have. We do have a lot of schools and abandoned, schools and properties like that. We should look at for housing too. I think what else this will help us with is getting some infrastructure out in some other outlying areas too. So we're excited to see that. If you look at this year's grant award book, there wasn't too many grants awarded. It was very low in quantities, and we were fortunate enough. The 2 other ones in Herkimer County were awarded. One was for childcare, and the other was for the old jail to keep that building going. So we're still waiting on one other one that they haven't announced out of that group yet for countywide zoning and planning. So to take a look at everybody's zoning throughout the county. Yeah, it's got a lot of money so far.
I know.
But now we just need to schedule it all to get working.
Anything else, Shannon, or anyone else have any? Talk about the reorganization? Garrett?
That's your report right there.
I'll need a motion to go in executive session. Mike, and to discuss contracts and properties. All that stuff. All right. All in favor, aye?
Aye. Thanks,
Opposed,
Jerry.
nay.
Yeah.
Have a good,
Yes, you guys.
Are we getting?
Should be. Do that again.
motion to adjourn, Mike and Alana.
Let's not forget, you can shut that off. Let's not forget about our little